let's talk about the family life cycle. So I try my best to make this video as silly as I possibly could. I try my best to make it fun, because if you all know by now what I've said, this studying for this exam, it can be fun, it can be silly, it can be goofy. We don't want it to be stressful. We don't want it to be anxiety provoking, because we got enough anxiety and depression in our life as it is. We don't need to add to it. So I try my best to make this as silly as I can, but also for each and every one of you to have understanding and clarity on it. So I will say this. It depends on which study program that you have used. Lafayette Wade and Licensure, Eli Karam, Volini, and there's a few more different programs, TDC. They explain the stages differently. There are different names for them. So the stages that I have here, I pulled them from different places. I used Eli Karam's. I used a few different ones, and then I tried to, check for my own understanding for the different stages. But I did try my best to explain each of them as I possibly can. So I started right off the gate. Come on, my single ladies. Like, the first thing that I saw, single young adults, Beyonce popped in my mind. Like, all my single ladies, let's go, let's get it. Like, you know what this is. You got your single adult life going on. You're leaving home. You're trying to find your own independence. That's financially, emotionally, physically, whatever the case may be. You said bye-bye to mommy and daddy. Like, you don't want to live with them anymore, so you left home, right? So this means that, okay, we're trying to establish that career. I don't know what the career may be. Hopefully it's a marriage and family therapist, because we need more of you all out here in the world, right? You got your own personal goals that you've probably set for yourself. And then you're probably, still itching up on that boyfriend or girlfriend that you have. If you're not already married to that young lady or that young man, I do say so myself. You're probably trying to formulate some intimate, pure relationships with somebody. But the biggest challenge is going to be, do I really want to go back home and see my mother and father this weekend, or is they getting on my nerves? Like, right? You're separating yourself from your family of origin, but you're still maintaining that connection. So even if you didn't go back home to see mom or dad, you probably called them, said, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Right? And then, like, at this stage, you now have your own personal life. You have your own way of trying to find yourself outside of your family of origin, outside of your family system, however you want to look at it, right? Well, I don't want to come over there and see you this weekend because I have a concert that I'm going to, with some of my friends, and that's okay. Right? You're building your independence, right? And mom and dad should be able to understand that, right? Okay, so of course I went silly with this one. Men, please, if you love that woman, put a ring on it, okay? And ladies, if you love that man and y'all been in this relationship for so long and you're just still wondering, like, when is he gonna pop the question? Why don't you just ask him? Hey, I am a firm believer of, like, closed mouths don't get fed. Hey, ask him, what do you think about marriage, right? But if you've already put a ring on it, you are now in that couple stage where we're talking about commitment. So now we got some expectations going on because we put a ring on that finger. And you don't see a ring on mine, but I won't get into it. Anyways, but yes, you are forming a new partner system. So now you're like, I've got my independence. I done asked this woman to marry me, or this man wants to marry me, right? So now you're just realigning your relationships with your family of origin. But now you're probably bringing that man or that woman home to meet mommy and daddy to seek their approval, right? So now we're talking about the boundaries, expectations, like I just said, because once you put that ring on it, those expectations are going to start flowing in, right? And you're also creating that shared life with your partner, but you're also thinking about, well, what is our future going to look like? Right? Like, what are we doing? Like, we have differences between each other, so let's see if we can get on the same page. Oh, and then it comes into, since you done put a ring on it, you done had some fun with each other. So now we got the families with the young children that are coming in, right? And some of those things that are going on in this stage is, well, we're making space for those children. Now, I don't know if the first time that you did it and you had twins, but hey, whatever the case may be, you didn't have one the first time, you might have been lucky to have two. Hey, it's okay. I'm an identical twin, but I was born last. So in my parents' family life cycle, they were a little bit older, but I'm not going to get into that. Anyway, so now you're taking on those parental roles and those responsibilities, because now you're just not responsible for your husband or your wife anymore. You're responsible for that baby boy or that baby girl that you have, or those twins that you have. Now, also, you're including those kids into your family. Now you're going back home to your family of origin. Grandma and grandpa's seeing the kids. Grandma and grandpa's probably spoiling the kids, and you just probably don't like that. But that's okay, because that's probably going to be one of your challenges anyways, because you got kids, a marriage, and you got a career. Now you got to find some balance, right? But don't go sending them kids over there to grandma and grandpa to be babysitting. Find a babysitter. Do something. Let your let your mother and your father have their time. They at the empty nesting stage already. They ain't trying to re-raise no more kids, okay? And y'all know who I'm talking about when I say this, but okay. And then now, when that baby is born, it's like, oh, now we got some sleep deprivation going on, some role strange going on, changing identities that are going on right now. But still, like I said, don't go sending them babies over there to mommy and daddy, okay? Give them a break. Raise your kids. Get started with raising your kids. They love, the grandparents love the kids, but let's give them a break, okay? All right, so that's the stage with the family. With the young children, you're married, now you got kids, and you have to find a balance of parenting, a balance of work, and a balance of your relationship. That relationship I'm talking about is the spousal relationship. You still got to find a balance with that. Just because you have kids doesn't mean you are no longer husband and wife. So, and then once we find that balance, now we're families with adolescents. And look at the two little pictures I put up there, because, man, what I tell you, I know I was terrible when I was an adolescent, so I cannot only imagine like emotions going up and down, trying to deal with that or whatever, but you still got to find that balance, right? Because now you're shifting to that parent-child relationship. Now you have to allow that little adolescent of yours more autonomy, picking his friends, if he wants to hang out with his friends, where he wants to go, right? But then also, you still got to manage those boundaries between your kid. Don't be in your kids' room snooping around in there trying to read their journal, trying to find out what it is that they doing at school or who they like. Circle yes or no. No, we are not doing that unless you have reasonable suspicion to do so, but you didn't hear that from me. Anyways, respect our boundaries, right? Then some more challenges we're going to have is what? We're going to have some of this arguing back and forth, because now the kids are exploring their identity. You can't tell me who to hang out with. These are my friends. This is what I identify as, right? Don't tell me how to dress. I can wear this if I want to. But then you got to balance. Give them their autonomy. Give them a little bit of freedom. Unless it's a bit much, then you want to intervene. But then again, I don't really have any kids, so I can't really say. But I've been around kids long enough to know where it's like, no, you shouldn't be doing that, and no, you shouldn't be wearing that, okay? But I'm not here giving any advice to anybody. I'm just here talking about the family life cycle. Anyways, yes, now give your kids some freedom. Let them explore their identity. Read their journal if you have reason suspicion to do so. I don't know. But at the same time, manage your boundaries, okay? So now this is the empty nesting stage, where we are launching our children. We're kicking them out of the nest, seeing if they can fly, and we are moving on, right? We are letting go of the children. They are independent. They are adults now. We are now accepting of the new in-laws and more grandchildren. And then again, like I said, we're coming back around to doing what? Refocusing again on our relationships with our husband or with our wives, as well as the individual goals. So then again, the challenge is that empty nest syndrome. Yes, you miss the kids. Yes, you want them to have their independence. You're most likely going to be checking up on them, seeing if they're coming back home. And if they're not coming back home, you want to know why. My father still does it to this day. Are you coming to see me? When are you coming? And I'm just like, I'm coming. I'm going to come see you. And again, you're rebuilding your identity again outside of parenting. That's getting back to your husband, getting back to your wife and that relationship. And right, but then at the same time, your kids are now supporting you. Your kids are coming back to support you going through the aging process. And this is this is a part of the family life cycle that I can speak on, because I had to do that with my own mother. It was a point in time where, again, it's coming to like, okay, well, I moved out from the house, but that doesn't mean that my parents still don't need my help. They still don't need my support. So yes, you've launched your children, they're moving on, but then the roles kind of like start to reverse, where the kids start taking care of the parents, right? So then these are our families that are in later life. You're adjusting to aging, retirement. You've met those goals that you wanted to meet at your career that you had, and now your job has told you thank you, and this is what you have now. You can relax because we're going to pay you pay you to relax, that pension, whatever the case may be. And then you're still continuing to integrate your family roles as a grandparent, right? But then some of you may be dealing with a loss of your spouse already, and this is a stage that I also can speak on. When my father lost his wife, my mother, I did the roles reversed, where I'm taking care of my mother in her later life, and you have to find a way to cope with the decline of your parents, the increased dependence that they may need, but at the same time, your parents also may struggle with having to depend on their kids, because I know my mother was the same way. She really felt like I never thought that I would have to do this, and she never thought that it would be me that would be helping her do that. And at the same time, your parents are still trying to maintain that purpose that they have in life, as well as their legacy. And then you, in turn, the kids, are going to be the ones to maintain that legacy. And again, this is a part that I can speak on because I continued to do it with my mother. When my mother did pass away, I continued to do it with her, continuing on her legacy of gardening, because she loved to garden so much. So these last two stages are kind of like, I don't know, I feel some type of way like talking about it, because it made me think so much of my mother and so much of the stages that I had to, go through with her, even with the cycle of life with my own self, and then to have to live without a parent. And it's kind of hard. I don't know if they don't really put emphasis on the children living without a parent. It's kind of like dealing with the loss of a spouse or friend or whatever. But where are the children? How does the children cope with the loss of a parent in the family life cycle, even when it comes to this point? So I hope that everyone was able to understand the different cycles. I try my best to make it this as fun and easy as I possibly can. I don't want anybody to be hard on themselves when it comes to studying. I want you to be able to obtain a clarity, obtain an understanding, but make it fun when you do so. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed my laughter, my comedic relief. If you are going through something today, I hope that this video does brighten your day.